Welcome back, boys and girls. This is our part two of background information to get us ready to talk about the California Gold Rush. In this video, you're going to be hearing about what happened after the Lewis and Clark expedition and Manifest Destiny when it opened up this entire middle part here of the continent of North America. And after that, we'll learn about some of the wagon trains, some of the famous wagon trains that went into California, as well as the Mexican-American War. So after Lewis and Clark finished their exploration and came back to the United States, it really opened up that whole concept of manifest destiny, and the United States began to send more and more people to move west through across the continent. So in 1826, there was another explorer, a wild man really. So this is in 1826. His name is Jedediah Strong Smith. Jedediah Strong Smith. Now, Jedediah Strong Smith is really very well known for creating a trail that was the first trail across the Sierra Nevada mountains. So he created a trail across the Sierra Nevada mountains. The Sierra Nevada mountains. And so this is where we have talked about the Sierra Nevada mountains in our California regions unit at the very beginning of the year. But you can see that there's actually two different kinds of mountain ranges here. So these smaller ones here are the Sierra Nevada mountains. And as we know from our previous lessons, the Sierra Nevada mountains are right there on the edge of California and Nevada. So we've got mountains going into California as well. Well, just east of the Sierra Nevada mountains is an even larger mountain range. And this one is called the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains have even higher mountain tops than the Sierra Nevada ones, okay? So just like Lewis and Clark, Jedediah Strong Smith had started going across, and he actually starts from Salt Lake City, which is by the Great Salt Lake. So this is where Jedediah Strong Smith starts. And he actually ended up going southwest. So this diagonal direction, he went southwest across, and he went all the way down to San Diego. And he stayed in San Diego for a little while, and then he started to explore up on the inland part, not the coastal region, the inland part. And then he went into the Sierra Nevada mountains, and he found a route through the Sierra Nevada mountains and went all the way back to Salt Lake City. And that is really important because that's what really opened up the travels from the United States of America all the way into California. So our next explorers were in 1841 by a man by the name of Bidwell, John Bidwell, and John Bartleson. So this is called the Bidwell-Bartleson Party. They were the first wagon train to come to California, the first wagon train to California. Now, what I should actually define for you is what is a wagon train, okay? So let's kind of just take this word wagon train and let's kind of go over here. Now, I'm not talking like a train like on tracks. What we're talking about is the wagons, and on top of the wagons, there would be, let's see if I can make this a little dimensional, there would be this top part, and there would be a place for a person to sit, and then it would be carried by a horse. So here's my super quick drawing of a horse. Would be pulled by horses, usually more than one. Horses or oxen, horses or oxen. And then this would be the covered wagon. And families would all get together, and you would have many covered wagons being pulled by horses or oxen. So the Bidwell Bartleson party was the first party that went into California. They started in St. Louis, and they traveled what was called the Oregon Trail at that time. So they traveled, Oregon is the state just north of California, but they were not headed to Oregon. They were actually headed into California. So they traveled the Oregon Trail through the Rocky Mountains, north of Salt Lake City, across the desert in Nevada, and across the Sierra Nevada mountains. Once they went in through here, John Bidwell went up to north to a city called Chico, where he created his life, and that is where there is a university today, a California State University, Chico, where I went to school. So he went north, and then John Bartleson went into other parts within California. John Bidwell is a big pioneer for California. He did a lot of really great things. Then we get into probably the most famous party. This is in 1846, and it was the Donner Reed Party. And way back at the beginning of the year, if you read Donner Dinner Party when we did our graphic novels book clubs, you know something about this. So the Donner Reed Party also started in St. Louis. They also followed that same trail that the Bidwell Party did. So they got across the Rocky Mountains. They had a lot of difficulty getting across the deserts in the Nevada area. And by the time they got to the Sierra Nevada mountains, it was December. And that December, I'm going to put December. That December was like the coldest December on record for that time period, that ended up having like 12 feet snowbanks. They got stuck there. They got stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Nobody could get in to find them. They couldn't get out through this 12 feet of snow. And the history records it, that they actually ended up doing something called cannibalism, where they would eat the people who died. And that was the only way that they could survive. So yeah, I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say cannibalism. I'm going to let you pause so you can all go, ew. So the Donner Reed Party got stuck in December in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and they had to resort to cannibalism. Did you say it? Did you say ew? Because to us, that sounds really gross, but it actually is what ended up happening to them. By the time that the weather cleared enough for them to come out, there were only a few members of the party even left. When we get back to school, if you want to borrow Donner Dinner Party and read more about it, I'll be happy to lend that out to you. After they finally got out in January, they ended up going down towards the San Francisco Bay. In fact, the Reeds ended up at Mission San Juan Bautista. Maybe you remember seeing something of theirs that was on display in there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this background history of all the important information that we need to really get ourselves focused in on the California Gold Rush. I hope you join me back soon so that you can hear what happens next. Bye.